turned your phone off this time?
No, but it's on Do Not Disturb.
Okay, we'll see about that. Finish with your Heineken?
No, but it's nice to have Heineken back.
Mm.
Although I don't understand what the hell it's actually saying on there.
Today's episode brought to you by Heineken.
I wish.
If only. Oh, only.
Oh,
no.
segue. What is up, YouTube? It's James from Robin Henry Watches. How are you? Hello to the Amiga fans who absolutely tried trolling me in the last video.
Oh.
A little bit upset, were we?
Yeah. Well, Amiga's better than Rolex because
they
people
are.
say so.
Because they are. Anyway, so what are we talking about today?
There's only one topic.
Is it only watch?
It's only watch, the biggest drama since, well, yeah.
So for me, out of like all of the auctions that go on throughout the year, there's just been one at the time of filming. There's just been a great one out in Monaco. For me, and I think for most collectors, unless you're like a super high-end collector, only watch is the auction that kind of everyone gets to enjoy. Not because we can afford to buy the watches,
No.
but because it's just, one, it's for a great cause, two, it's because that's when all the cool watches come out, because obviously, you know,
This is where the weird comes out.
but, okay, so let's just dial back a little bit.
Let's tell people what we're actually talking about.
What is Only Watch? So Only Watch, it's a charity, it's a charitable event organisation for DMD, which is
Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It's
a horrible disease. It basically only affects boys.
Yeah, muscular
generally up to about 20, and it shortens their lifespan significantly. And it was set up by this guy. I can't even try saying his first name.
Luke something.
Petavino. Back in 2005, and at that point, because his son had this disease, unfortunately, since then his son has passed. But essentially, what his aim was to find a cure for this disease, because you know there was no research going into it, no treatments, and he wants to find a cure for it, which is very noble.
And from what it looks like, they're making decent progress.
Yeah. So, what the idea that he came up with was that, you know, the high-end Swiss
brands. Well, it's been a while since we've done the Swiss brand.
It's all this bloody Heineken. That they create a one-off unique watch that then gets auctioned off, and he holds this event every 2 years. And to the credit of the watch manufacturers, they've got behind it. And to be fair, I'm saying it's Swiss brands. I think there's probably other brands that have got involved as well. So, you know, I'm talking crap there, but predominantly, and you know, it's a Monaco organisation, charity, but they do this event in Geneva, and yeah, it's been really well supported. And for, you know, us, you know, looking in, one, it's for a great cause, and two, some of the watches that have come out of it have been insane. Even like, you know, one of my favourite ones is like the Tudor watches that they brought out, where they brought out, you know, these unique, you know, they're all piece unique.
Rolex doesn't seem to toss their hat into the ring, but they'll dump off Tudor.
The only charity he doesn't get involved and help out.
They'll dump Tudor in the car park and pick them up after the auction.
You know, but some big brands, the independents, everyone gets behind this auction. And it's all been going well. They've raised, how much have they raised? $100 million?
$100 million.
I mean, nice.
Well, not the research people have seen $100 million, and therein lies the problem.
But in the last few years, most of the money has come just from the last few auctions, as it's really gained momentum and watch collecting.
50 million Swiss francs again this year, or
would have been. So what's going on? So essentially, the guy's been getting, I'm just going to break it down to a really kind of, you know, level that we can all digest. The guy's been getting trolled online, and people, which they do these days, unfortunately, everyone's like...
Gigging, cancel culture.
I think it's just more of that cancel culture. It's just like, where's the money? What's been going on? Why can't we see your accounts? What are you doing? How much are you getting paid? Everything in life these days seems to be like, no accountability people themselves. It's always, what are they doing? Mm-hmm. Tell me about this, tell me about that. Because he's quite a flamboyant guy, the organizer, and so people are like, "What is he taking the money?"
I mean, he's backed by a pretty flamboyant guy as well, isn't he?
Yeah. So the patronage of the charity is what's his name? I always call him Albert.
The Prince of. Oh, he's not Prince Albert though, is he? In fact, I've written it down.
We've written it down. We've actually done some.
He is actually Prince Albert.
Yes, it's Prince Albert II of Monaco. And listen, I like the dude. He always turns up at the boxing events that Matchroom Boxing do at the casino. But anyway, off point. So that's a major player to have behind your charity. But up until recently, there's been no legislation in place that they have to divulge or put out their accounts or be forthcoming with what's happening with the money. So anyway, people have been firing shots off at them. I don't know why suddenly, to be fair, someone could tell us down in the comments, what triggered the start of all these questions and the line of questioning, and is there anything? I mean, nothing has been substantiated one way or another. So anyway, he comes out in defense of the charity and said, you know, we are going to be more forthcoming.
Legislation's about to change.
The legislation was about to change in Monaco anyway. Anyway, what he has done, he put out one press release and he's where it's detailed quite a few years of their accounts. I think it's going back to about 2015.
It's at least 5 years.
Yeah, it's about 5 or at least 5 years of accounts going back, showing. And essentially where they're at is they've donated about half the money, roughly they're speaking, to research companies. But the main stakeholders in these research companies is also the same guy that owns the charity, but it's also other parents of children affected by this disease. So that all seems okay. And then half the money hasn't been allocated, and his reasoning behind that, which to me as a layman sounds genuine, is that, well, they don't need all the money up front to do this research, that it comes in stages. Because you know, giving the researchers all the money up front, I guess they just don't need to.
I mean, if it's for that charity, you know,
I guess some of the questions that people want answered in the audited accounts, I think they're going to get KPMG out in Monaco to do it. Is like
they're doing it as of 2023. Is audited.
You know, what's their expenses? You know, for example, if they're holding,
said it's only like 1%.
But that's a lot.
Auction. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'll take 1% of.
Yeah, I think that might include the auction fees as well.
Yeah, of course. And listen, so that until we get the data, you know, if they're holding board meetings, you know, in the strip club below the Monaco casino, and by the way, I'm not saying that there is a strip club in the basement of the Monaco casino.
You sound very familiar with that.
I've only been to the casino out in Monaco once, and there was no strip club. I've never been to a strip club in Monaco.
Yeah, they didn't tell you about the strip club.
Well, listen, they let me in if there is. Anyway, so you know, how much is he getting paid? How much expenses? How much are the other parents getting? I mean, I guess there is a right for people to know and for the brands to know, because the brands but surely the brands have done some due diligence. Like when he asked for it, I'm sure they don't just be like, you know, like some of like the Patek minute repeaters and the clocks and things that, you know, that they've done.
Yeah.
Those aren't cheap things. They just be like, you know, the guy, you know, Patek gets an email, you know, Old Theory's there, like gets an email, yo, dude, can I have a watch frame? Yeah, sure. Yeah. We'll spend whatever time and just give. I'm sure they probably have asked some of the questions. I don't know. But then I guess if we're really going to get into it, what also helped in the middle of all this controversy for this year's auction, which is literally days away from happening, Audemars Piguet pull out. But they don't give a reason.
No, they basically just said, we're not doing it. And everyone knows the reason, but I think they just don't want to cause any dramas, but they also don't want to be associated with the controversy. That's the vibe I'm getting. Meanwhile, FP Jean, I mean, you've got the statement there. It's a pretty entertaining.
So yeah, you know, Francois Paul Jean, obviously of his namesake brand, and he has said, to quote him, "My opinion on Only Watch. My wish has always been to donate to medical charity that's necessary to save children. I reiterate my total confidence in Petavina, whom I know well and who is a remarkable man, and who also, of course, the Principality of Monaco, that is the patron of Only Watch and its guarantor." And I think that's pretty,
a big point. It's
a very big point, because let's just call him Albert.
Let's say the money goes missing one day. Luke's done a runner.
Yeah, I mean,
the money's covered.
The guy's got to be. You'd have to think. I mean, I'm not saying it's out the realms of possibility,
it's not
but
like the Saudi princes. But I'm sure Luke's losing a hand at least.
He's going to be, making sure this is all above board, because it's not a good look for Monaco, or him personally, if not. And he wants to pursue the engagement, and this is why I remain alongside Only Watch, because when this terrible sickness that kills the majority of affected youth before the age of 20, it will be beaten. I will be proud to say that I've contributed. So that's a really good endorsement. unfortunately, AP don't feel the same.
See, that reads to me, A is support, but B, that reads the shots fired to the other brand. Because basically what he's saying is, AP, you don't want your name like associated with it, but we're trying to save children here, just deal with it.
I think Audemars Piguet, I mean, first of all, they have, it's their prerogative whether they choose to support it or not. They don't have to. I just think they would have been better waiting and just playing the waiting game.
Yeah.
Like, they must already had a watch ready.
Well, it's like you said, it's cancel culture. It's innocent until proven guilty. But in this case, it's the other way around.
Yeah, the guy's getting, completely sacrificed here and, laying out. And it's like, there's no evidence of any wrongdoing here.
AP were quite happy to, stick their hat in the ring when they're supporting a charity, and that's what they seem to be doing. The second, a guy who's literally lost his kid to this.
So they've got, has the new CEO started? I think she has, but I don't know whether she's taken control or.
I'm not sure she's active.
I think it's in the handover period still, but I don't know. I just think that was, I think they've jumped on the bandwagon of cancel culture. And what do they do now? They can't really be like, okay, we're going to support it again, because it's kind of like, if you've got morals, whether you agree with them or not, you should be sticking by them, right?
Like Watch is going to the new CEO.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, AP, the biggest brand that supports, rappers and drug dealers worldwide, right? And just wait and see. They've already made the watch.
Yeah.
Like, if they hadn't said anything and he's already delayed it, maybe there were other brands in the background who are going to pull out.
Remember, like, the brand's pulling out is stupid, because if it all comes out that he's just pocketed $50 million and, his hand's going to get cut off, that doesn't make the brands look bad. That makes the brands look like victims.
Yeah.
The brands aren't backing him and saying, yeah, he's a legit guy. They're saying, this is a charitable organisation.
I don't think people are going to be looking at the brands involved and be like, you supported this charity that wasn't, running their accounts properly, and people, were taking from. I don't, if they continued to support it after that, then yeah, of course you'd be like, well, why?
And let's throw a little bit of our grayer morals into this. Casting aside the missing $50 million,
it's not missing, it's unallocated.
Yeah, but casting that aside for a second, still $50 million he's raised off his own back for a charity that didn't have any research at all. Like, give the man some credit here.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, it's all gone a bit quick. Maybe questions did need to be asked, and this will obviously, I think, make the whole charitable organisation more transparent going forwards. And maybe he could have done more of that, because there's, even the people that are buying the watches, they're still donating to charity in effect, because these watches aren't, it's not directly linked to the value of that watch. I mean, at this point, it's art, right? That you're buying, and you're paying for the uniqueness.
There's no intrinsic value here.
Yeah. So, they have a right to know as well, to a certain point. I mean, at least they're getting something for their donation.
Well, yeah.
Exactly. It's not like they're just donating and that's it. They're getting an awesome piece unique. And I'm sure a lot of the people that buy, right, they're not the sort of person that, are watching their pennies down at Tesco's when they're shopping. No. So they can afford this. You would have to imagine in most cases, if not all. But yeah, it's just interesting. It's unravelled very quickly. So it's the auction, which was due to take place on the 5th of November, has now been delayed to 2024, but we don't have a date in 2024. I really hope it's not the end of it either. He's saying that this unallocated 50 million is being actively managed, as you would hope, for that amount of money. So it's still bringing income.
Invested and hopefully growing it,
Yeah, it would be. So yeah, I mean, I hope they can get this resolved, ideally in the first quarter or second quarter 2024.
Account like earning him Amex points or something.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully this can be cleared up. I mean, when it comes to the internet, you're never going to satisfy everyone.
No.
He could show them clearly audited accounts forever.
They'll say that he's dressed them up that way.
Yeah, or they'll be like, what about pre-2015 or whatever, since he's put it out? You could put up a picture of a black door and people will say, no, it's white. There's just not convincing something. But I would say that the people that probably in most cases are asking these questions have got absolutely zero involvement. They're not actively buying, they're not involved in the charity. Maybe I'm wrong there, and if I am, call me out. But at the moment, there's no real credible evidence that has been offered to, cast such doubt. So hopefully he can clear the name of the charity, and the good work can continue, and the brands can get back it. And I'd say, you know what, AP pulling out, whatever. Who's next?
I think it's too quick.
Yeah, exactly. Screw
I
AP.
think it's the right thing to delay the auction.
At this point, yeah.
And the way he's worded it is very diplomatic as well, saying that, you know, we're delaying it because the auction shouldn't be damaged by this. You know, this name shouldn't be damaged by this. We'll sort this out, and then we'll come back. And
yeah, he didn't have much other choice, because, you know, this isn't some, you know, thing, you know, with the royalty of Monaco involved, the brands involved. It needs to be done right. So I think, yeah, he's done the right thing, you know, delaying it. So yeah, we'll see it unravel, see if there's going to be any more drama. Love a bit of watch drama, because everyone blows everything out.
In a really horrible, petty way. I hope it all gets resolved, and then he tells AP they can't come back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him doing that.
Well,
but
no, that would be bad.
They've still donated watches in prior years, which is very good of AP. But I just don't understand the point of rushing out and having to make a statement about it.
No, it's
like,
very silly.
They could have just left it to the last minute and just let it and not put a watch in, even if the auction had gone ahead, and just been like silently stepped out the back door.
I like FP Jean's response. I think that's just actually quite funny, because he's basically saying, look, we're dealing with kids who are dying here. Like, there's bigger problems. Just leave them alone, let him publish it.
And hopefully it will come from a strength now, because it will be transparent going forwards, and, you know, the money it's raised is beyond significant. Through what a great idea, and as well, you know, props to the brands for getting behind it. So, other than AP now.
Except for you, AP. You're dead.
So yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Yeah, Rolex, get in.
It would be a great coup for them. I know they won't do this, but can you imagine if Rolex now chucked their hat in and said, you know what, we've been observing what's going on.
We're fronting the 50 million. We're hosting our own only watch.
No, I think they could but they step in AP's place.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, the brand damage that would do to AP. I mean, obviously, yeah, to you, you know, your sports stars and your drug dealers that are buying it, they're not going to care, maybe. No. Maybe that's offensive to sports people. I take that back. But you get what I mean.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. It would damage AP
Imagine
a little
like
bit.
A wacky one-off deep sea challenge. Deep sea challenge ultra thin.
Yeah, do whatever, eh? They could actually, Rolex could get creative for once. Yeah. Anyway, let us know your thoughts below. Please like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, let us know your thoughts.
Bye.
We're out.